Hey guys, Deathloader Magic here. We're talking open gaming license, but I'm going to take a little different spin on it by giving you the full picture. See, the thing about their little greedy cash grab changes to the OGL is not, oh, it's a one-off. It was one person's dumb decision. Oh, it was just a bad direction and it's just like an anomaly. No. You got to go back a couple years to find out why they're doing this. What led to this? But what is the OGL? Let's just start with that so you got a little context for what's going on. It's the open gaming license. It was made over 20 years ago, and it just is one short little thing that says, yeah, you can make fan content for Dungeons & Dragons. Generally, like, don't use actual characters, proper names, maybe city names and item names, a lot of stuff like that. And then here's what to use instead. Everything else is fair game. We don't want any money, licensing, percentage cut, nothing. So that's how it's been for over 20 years. Now they decided to bring out 1.1, and instead of some big woo whoop-de-doo announcement, it was leaked. Because I would assume one of the employees who did it, if that's even who was behind it, was like, this is so anti-consumer, we got to get out ahead of this before they implement it. I am completely against this. And yeah, the people who work there are very passionate about like tabletop and the community and keeping it proper and keeping Hasbro's greedy hands off of it and, respect. That said, it is still Wizards of the Coast. They got a lot of bad apples there these days. Mostly in the other departments, but Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons are their two big things that they do. I can't even name a third one. So they basically said we're coming out with a version 1.1, and now anybody who makes over $750,000, I don't remember if that was gross or profit. I want to say profit. Knowing them, it's probably gross. But yeah, if you make $750,000 worth of income on your little side module, your adventure, your book, your whatever, and they have said that is less than 20 entities total, as far as companies, individuals, YouTube channels, whatever. But if you make that much, we want a 25% cut by, I think it starts in 2024. And that doesn't come out of the operating profit. That is 25% on the sale price. If you publish a hardcover book and you're only running off a couple thousand of it, you're not making that much profit on it, okay? It's not the most expensive thing in the world. You ain't making a computer chip, but still. The margins on these, they're not like razor thin, but 25%, let's just say the product just went up 25%. So that's the new version of the OGL 1.1 that they were about to release in 2023 and enforce the next year. And everybody would have to abide by it, despite the OGL 1.0 saying that it's in perpetuity, because I guess it has a self-destruct command in it. You can just rip it up. Now, they're skating a fine line here, because if you make your own thing, your own world, your own characters, completely new universe, don't take anything from D&D, the only thing you're using is like the dice, the combat system, and like some math, and like a character sheet, and some generic names of skills like athletics and acrobatics, or pickpocket, guess what? None of that's copyrightable or trademarkable or protected in any way. You cannot copyright a process or a set of rules, or well, let me just read the actual law for you. You cannot protect in any way ideas, procedures, processes, systems, methods of operation. I know, because somebody tried to sue one of my companies over that, and they dropped it immediately when the lawyer laughed him out of the room. Big guy trying to bully small guy, didn't work out for him. Concepts, principles, or discoveries. You also, I'll throw this in, you can't copyright facts. And that's why they had such a problem with maps and dictionaries, because it's just a list of facts. It's, yeah, the arrangement, cool, but I could just not do it alphabetically, take all of your work and publish it, because you're just publishing knowledge facts, like nothing. You didn't create anything. So WotC would lose in court, seems to be everybody's opinion. Also, the whole breach of contract, whatever, I don't know, OGL 1.0 looked pretty tight on the part that says, but we could just discontinue this. And yeah, almost every contract or agreement or license says, well, we can't just let you do it forever. We're not going to say, oh, for the next 10,000 years, we're going to absolutely assure you that this will not change. You can always abide by it. I mean, the first part of it said that, the end of it did not, is my understanding. So, I mean, the one example that was given by Legal Eagle was, you know how there's Words with Friends and it's just a complete and utter ripoff of Scrabble? How have they not been sued yet? Especially since I think Hasbro owns Scrabble. The rules, a process, whatever. You don't use the names. You don't use anything. You don't rip off the board exactly. It's just a game with a series of rules. You can't copyright that. That's the especially shady short version of what's going on with this. But what's really going on behind the scene is going to blow your mind. I will warn you, this is the most political video I've ever made. So if you're not into that, too bad. Listen anyway. You need to hear the truth. So Critical Role, Dungeon Dudes with Dungeons of Drakkenheim, I think both of them were affected, couple others. You know, they make their own cool little universe, their own world, their own thing, and they just use the Dungeons and Dragons rules and kind of their magic system, but, you know, skipping certain names of certain spells, you know, so that you don't say, well, Bigsby's hand now does this, and it just runs around slapping, you know, children. Oh, no, now that's canon. Don't use Bigsby's hand to slap children, okay? You can't do that. And that's why there's a second document called the SRD 5.1. It's about 400 plus pages of just, change this name to generic, don't say this, don't use this character, and call this, and okay, now we're good. Everything else, do what you want, use the system, whatever. So that's not all they changed. I'm going to get into the controversial stuff, like them trying to control the content and then just outright steal it, but that's the basics. Let's get into starting at the beginning, what led to this. Because this has been years in the making, and it ain't going to change anytime soon. If you thought they're going to make a giant 180 course correction, no, they're going to deflect and hope hope it dies down, hope you forget about it, and then they're going to try something just as egregious or worse. I guarantee it. So, Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast. What's going on there? So, Hasbro has been mismanaged and losing money left and right for the last 10 to 20 years. It depends how you measure it, but it hasn't been going in a good direction. And I should say, everything in this video is like my opinion, and it's, conclusions being drawn, not all absolutely presented as facts, so don't sue me. So Hasbro's executives and board and all that, they're basically just hire your friends and people, I don't know, you owe something to, not people who know how to do their job. They're out of touch, they're clueless, and they've been infected by idiotic extremist politics. So they bought up a ton of assets thinking, this will make us a bunch of money. This is a very, 1950s way to do business. Remember, they're all very clueless. So Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, Transformers, they've just been sitting on it, doing nothing, losing money. I think they bought like a movie production company, did next to nothing with it. And all of those were like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10 billion in debt. If you're a publicly owned company and you have to run up debt and then your projects go nowhere and make nothing and you sit on them for years and just cancel projects, that's not good. So in 2022, their stock got pretty much cut in half. So their number one piggy bank is Wizards of the Coast. They acquired them a very long time ago to get basically control of Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. Those were the two properties they really needed. So they mostly just let them do their own thing. A lot of the employees from back then are still there. Unfortunately, because they're not very good at their jobs. But lately they've been treating them like a piggy bank because over the last couple of years, Chris Cox, the new CEO there, who is now CEO of Hasbro. Yeah, he got promoted after completely burning out the game but making the numbers look good. That's what happens when you let suits in, when you let the Wall Street people in on a publicly owned company instead of going long-term health, you just burn it out. And that's what they did. They burnt out and pissed off the customers. So in a trading card game, Magic the Gathering specifically, you have to be very careful not to just up the power bar. Oh, gotta buy this to stay competitive. Oh, the power's here now. It's called power creep. And at a certain point, you have no place to go. Look at Yu-Gi-Oh! You just win on turn 1 or 2, it's a joke, and people who play it are clearly deranged. But that's the direction they went with the standard format. They made a conscious decision, and they came out and admitted this. This is not suspicion. They openly said this. They decided to up the complexity and the power level of the standard format, the one that everybody's supposed to learn, that's supposed to be, beginner-friendly and understandable and moderately paced. As of they say Eldraine, I have a slightly different opinion of that. But sometime around that set's release a couple years ago, that's when they really hit the gas and everybody left. They were just so fed up with them not doing anything about overpowered decks, banning anything to balance it, and really it was just like a scheme to sell cards to other formats. Because if you get low power, 1 or 2 cards out of the new set might be competitive in other formats that are higher powered. And they thought, well, we can make more money if we just crank up the power level and print cards specifically for other formats, but throw them into the low level one. And that's what started this, because Hasbro was like, dude, we need money. We got to hit up our piggy bank, WotC. WOTC, Wizards of the Coast. And my gosh, did that get bad in the second half of 2022 and going into 2023. It got way worse from every metric and every ex-employee statement and all the evidence put together. They are like desperate. Wait a minute, the overprinting of brand new products, the jacking up the prices, the getting rid of MSRPs, the shake-up in the distributor system, them doing very anti-local gaming store stuff to put them out of business, and the upping of the power level, that all started right around the time when Chris Cox became CEO of WotC. And then he just got promoted recently in 2022 to the CEO of Hasbro. And then Hasbro, around April of 2022, bought D&D Beyond, an independent digital tool set and kind of service company to run Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition online and collaboratively. Like, I'm oversimplifying it, but just basically an independent big super D&D thing. So they decided to acquire them, and I'm sure all these things have nothing to do with each other. I'm sure nothing bad could come out of this. It blows my mind, although a lot of these YouTubers don't know what they're talking about, that they cover this like, how could this have happened? What led to this? I mean, maybe because, yeah, I've made over 3,000 videos, been covering Wizards of the Coast and their crap for the last 10 years. Maybe I have a little custom insight, but that's why I'm making this video. So please send this to all the uninformed, just surface level, I read an article and took some notes people on YouTube who don't know what they're talking about. Or any of your friends who you want to give the full picture, because this goes way deeper from here in the video. You should see my outline. It gets interesting. And if you want to do a collab, jump on a live stream, interview me, podcast, I don't care, I'm always available. It's bad. OGL 1.1 is bad. This isn't just, haha, this is the thing to dump on. Ooh, a price increase. Oh, this affects somebody I care about, so I don't care if it's fair or not. No. This is like dictator taking over Venezuela bad. Okay, this is bad. And the closer you look and the more details you find out, the worse it gets. So if you like what you're hearing so far, you appreciate the level of information, like and subscribe. Not that I care about this channel entirely anymore, because they're going to kill the game in the next 2 years, but that's a different topic. So, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro's health level financially, let's open that can of worms. And their Q3 numbers from 2022, we haven't seen Q4 yet, they're coming, clearly indicated that the overwhelming majority of any kind of profitability is coming from Wizards of the Coast. They have all these excuses and they're moving stuff around, making it look pretty for the stockholders, but, well, at the beginning of 2022, the stock was priced at right around $100 even, and if you go to one of the lowest points, November 16th, 2022, $55.97. Oh, a dip below 55 in the end of December. Ouch. It's had a little bit of recovery, and I actually cannot possibly conceive of why, after all this OGL stuff. I guess, well, Wall Street people and day traders and people who just look at the numbers and pretend they know what they're doing, but don't actually know about the company's business or community or product or anything. They just take the company's word for it on their financial reports, which is a giant mistake. They seem to have bought it back. I can't wait for another crash. As of today, it's like $66. It shouldn't be. It should be 40. And in November, Bank of America lowered Hasbro's stock rating because they saw it, and they did agree their stock price could be between 73 and 42. And let me just say, 42 is optimistic if you ask me. That is not financial advice, and I am not a professional investor. When the Q4, or I guess you could say year-end 2022 financial report comes out, it's going to be devastating. So that is all just to set the stage about what caused this. A lot of people are saying, oh, evil company bad. Ooh, big business bad. They do bad thing. No, why did they do it? Why are they going to continue to do it? What business decisions led to this? That is more important than what's going on, because it's going to keep going on as Hasbro basically heads to bankruptcy. They hired a bunch of woke idiots who are now trying to sell Barbie dolls to boys and G.I. Joe dolls to girls. And that's going really well because, biology and chemistry and facts and, reality. I've said it before and I'll say it again, and it's always rang true. Get woke, go broke. You far left extremist nutbars need to go back to your little Discord servers and your little Twitter and your little private Facebook groups and talk about your complete and utter lunacy. But what you shouldn't do is try to stick your head up out of that hole and participate in society like you're a normal person. Because then realities like business and actual society and real people who know how society works are going to come metaphorically kick you in the face. So stay in your little group and be a miserable, hateful, angry person and die alone with no valuable relationships. But don't get hired as marketing and PR and product management at a giant company, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to drag it all down. You are a human wrecking ball of clueless brainwashing, and just stay away from the rest of us, please. So, poor clueless management. I hired this person because I like them and they're a family member, and lefty extremist lunacy that just loses money left and right and they don't care because their politics are more important than money. That is why this is going to keep happening. That is what set this up. Let's move on to what's going on. Oh, and don't forget to unsub if I hurt your feelings. So the OGL, Open Gaming License, Wizards of the Coast owns the Dungeons & Dragons brand. As I said, they made this a billion years ago, and it was the 1.0 form. It was about 22 years ago, and they haven't really done much with it since, other than kept it exactly as is, because it is just sitting there generating them money. Well, somebody came in to WotC and said, I think they're under monetized. We need to get more money from the customers, which, that always goes well. So what a normal company would do, populated by normal people who know how to do their job, is they would try to make an attractive new product that people want and then sell it for an acceptable price. That's called business. What these shortcutting clueless idiots decided to do was say, hey, these people are kind of making some money off of our product. Let's do something about it. Let's take a 22-year-old document, rip it up, and release an absolute, I hate to call it a scam, but what's the difference? It's not technically by definition a rug pull either, but boy, it sure feels like it. So the open gaming license is just, hey, you can make something and say this is part of the D&D game, but we made it. And as long as you agree to the OGL and abide by its terms, you're good. So it's a one-page document. It's really simple. Make it, make money off it, whatever, and comply with the SRD 5.1. Now that's an over 400-page document that just outlines the game mechanics, like class names, items, all that kind of stuff, but tells you what you can and can't say. Well, it mostly tells you what you can say, but it's like, you can't say, oh, we made a thing with Drizzt Do'Urden, because he's a character. Some super famous artifact, or I think even city or something, you can't use that. And a lot of things have been given generic names so that you don't stomp on their lore, and you become hyper popular, and then people think, oh, well, that's canon, as they call it, which means I had this adventure with this character and this item, and the item got destroyed and this character turned evil, and now we've got 1 million people downloading this PDF for this module in the tabletop game. And now they all think that really happened when it's a fan thing. You actually don't want that confusion, so it makes sense. So people were fine with that, like I said, for over 2 decades. So their theory was, over the long term, we're going to keep going in popularity because we'll have fan-made content, and we make money off it just by brand recognition, a bigger audience. Even if people are like, oh, I'm not going to play the official modules or buy any of the books, most people at least get the player's handbook. Come on. But if you're hard set against that, at least, you're going to pick up some miniatures, you're going to buy some dice. And if it's officially licensed D&D products, then they make money directly or indirectly on it. So slowly it became bigger and bigger and bigger, instead of this big, oh, well, this costs money and everything else costs money, why don't I just play something else? And then people are going to play whatever's just the best instead of what's the cheapest and most out there and widespread. You want to dominate the market if you want to keep making money long term. Now, the more Silicon Valley, 2010 on up kind of strategy is make absolutely nothing up front, get a bunch of venture capital money, maybe go public, get some stock money, monopolize the market, buy up all your competitors, shut them down, sue them out of existence, lobby politicians, whatever you have to do. And then as soon as you're all set and you're the cheapest one and everybody loves you, you absolutely rug pull the crap out of them and just skyrocket the prices. Because you own the market. If any startup comes up, you'll just buy them or destroy them. And now you can charge whatever you want. Hey, remember when I said Chris Cox came in, everything went to crap, they overprinted everything, pissed everybody off, didn't care about the community, didn't listen to them at all, upped the prices, directly competed with stores, fired/got sued by the distributors, and then bought D&D Beyond, and are now trying to monopolize fan-made content so that they own everything end-to-end and can sit there and, control everything and raise the prices? Yeah, that's what this is. That's what happens when the suits come in, the business people, and you don't have the hobby and community and actually know what's going on people to tell them, well, actually, that won't work. Your little thing you learned in college, that's not going to work. We can't do that. We can do half of that. Let's not anger everybody and ruin a multi-decade-old product because you want to squeeze an extra 10% out of something. To which I guess they replied, I went to Harvard, though. I know what I'm doing, and these dumb geeks need to pay us more money. What a wonderful time to read a statement about them. Well, their take on it, and this was allegedly a verified person, and the source that this got leaked to verified the person actually works there. So they said, hi, I'm an employee at Wizards of the Coast, currently working on D&D Beyond, and with the D&D business leaders on the health of the product line. Might have been an original D&D Beyond employee that they kept after the acquisition. That's my theory, but anyway. If you want, I could provide proof of this, and they did. I'm sending this message because I fear for the health of a company I love, and I know what the leaders at WotC are looking at. Number 1, they're briefly delaying the rollout of OGL changes due to backlash. Number 2, their decision-making is based entirely on the provable impact to their bottom line. I'll get to that in a second. Number 3, specifically, they're looking at DDB subscriptions, that's D&D Beyond subscription numbers and cancellations, as the quickest financial data they currently have. Now remember, it's been a week or 2? I have screenshots proving that the unsubscribe/account management system crashed because of too much traffic on D&D Beyond. So you can see why an original D&D Beyond employee leaked their thoughts about this and is probably also the type of person who leaked the new OGL that was just presented to them by the idiot suits at WotC and Hasbro. I mean, the stock price after the last financial report in 2022, and then when they announced a $1,000 Magic the Gathering product where you get 4 packs of cards, totally randomized, which at least my local gas station has the decency to cut off the scratch-off tickets at $50. Oh, and none of the cards are legal for play, and they're on the list of cards that they said they'd never reprint. After that, their stock lost even more money, and the amount of people that left plus the stock impact, it's hard to, say this caused this, but generally it's considered that they lost over $1 billion on that product that made less than $1 billion gross, let alone profit. So that was probably like a $30 commemorative, stupid, collectible, whatever, dumb on-the-shelf product that's not legal for play that people would buy because, ooh, cool. That's my theory. And then Hasbro came in and said, charge $1,000 for it. Or like, do something. I don't care what you do. You're all fired if you don't make more money. Because Magic the Gathering lost money for the first time in a while. But really, they've been losing, I can't say money, but everything but that. Like customers and community goodwill and all that. They've been losing that over the last 2 to 3 years. Oh, yes. They had an explosion in 2013 to 2014, and it's kind of been downhill from that, but okay, not everybody sticks around to play every game, but it was very healthy right up until about Theros or even Origins, which I don't remember when that was, 2016, something like that? And then after that, they were just like print power, piss everybody off, make stupid decisions, and the number of cards that went banned went up. The number of products released per year like tripled or quadrupled up to 2022. And they're, it's what they call wallet fatigue. People only have so much money, and they're getting very angry that every other week, on average, I wish I was kidding, a new product came out. You can't keep up with that. They usually have 4 major releases in a year. So we went from quarterly to bi-weekly. No thanks. And the whole time they're up in the power level so that no matter what you play, unless it's casual, non-competitive with your friends, you now have to buy the new cards to remain competitive. That's the kind of scummy crap they've been doing just in Magic the Gathering. I don't know as much about D&D other than some of the people who work there, and my God, we'll get into that. Because it really, at the end of the day, it's not just business mismanagement, it's politics and far lefty extremists, because they come in and ruin everything. Shocking, I know, but they're from Seattle. Is this even surprising? Kind of funny that they're registered in Rhode Island, but they're... But Wizards of the Coast is in Renton, Washington, just outside of Seattle, and it shows. Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco are basically like failed states. They're like lefty Democrat centrals. It's like the shining example of what happens when you go full left. So that's how these people got in here, and they come in and they hire their own kind. And then antagonize the fans, ruin everything. I mean, look at the Witcher series, look at Netflix. I mean, there's so many examples of where, like, they all come in, they all think one way, they all just secretly wink, wink, nod, nod, only hire people that think and vote the way they do, and then it just all self-destructs. Because like I said, you don't come out of your little secret hole where you think you know how the world works and you're just a brainwashed idiot and try to function in the real world and make a product and run a company. Okay, you're going to run a company straight into the ground. And that's what's happening here. That's what's happening at every place. Once again, get woke, go broke. I mean, everybody from Victoria's Secret to, what's that garbage shaving company? Oh yeah, Gillette. There's actually another one too. That's why I didn't think of it earlier. There's actually 2 garbage shaving companies anyway. They're come out with their, we hired a bunch of lefties in our PR marketing department. Hey, look at this nice ad. And then, why did our sales get cut in half? Target. Oh, we're going to let, minors get assaulted by perverts in the bathrooms because equality or something. Oh, why are our sales down? We're on the verge of bankruptcy. We're closing half our stores. Oops. I wonder what could have caused that, huh? So once again, it's not just I'm sticking that in on top of a news story. That is the news story. That is what's happening here. They're losing money because they hired morons who won't shut up about their politics, and they're delusional crazy people who insult and antagonize the fans on social media. Okay, that's what they've been doing. And then they try to make up for it by being shocking, I know, because they're horribly immoral people, greedy, anti-consumer, and generally immoral in their business operations too. There you go. Put 2 and 2 together. It ain't that hard, and it don't equal 5. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. If you're still here and you're angry, stop hate watching my channel and go listen to some delusional idiot on Twitch like Hassan Piker, and keep hearing what you want to hear instead of reality, because there's no hope for you at this point then. So the second half of the statement made by the person who's blown the lid on what's actually going on there, they say, I've decided to reach out because at my time in Wizards of the Coast, I have never once heard management refer to customers in a positive manner. Their communication gives me the impression that they see customers as obstacles between them and their money. Hyper control, disrespect everybody under you, and lie and gaslight to the community and the people because you think you're smarter than them. Classic left tactics. It's my way or the highway. They want to control speech. That is what's going on here. And now they're trying to turn that into a business strategy, I guess. So yeah, just greedy, immoral people. Shocking. You hire them and this is what you get, and that's how they run the company. I know. There's no fixing this. They're going to crash and burn. Hasbro's going to have to sell off WotC, or something's going to happen. They'll just drag them all down, and then bankruptcies and auctions, and who knows where the IPL end up. But that's where we're heading. Just FYI. So this is it. Oh, course correction. We did it. We won. Now we can go on enjoying. No, there's nothing. They're going to find brave new ways to mismanage this, because that's what they do. Because they care more about politics and yelling at people and feeling superior than they do about business and doing things the right way, or just generally doing things in a moral way. These people are sick, evil, brainwashed cult members. So the leaker goes on to say the DDB team was first told to prepare to support the new OGL changes and online portal when they got back from the holidays. That's when this all started. And leadership doesn't take any responsibility for the pain and stress they cause others. Leadership's first communication to the rank and file on the OGL project, we'll say, was 30 minutes on January 11th, 2023. 30-minute meeting about we're taking the giant course corrections, going to piss everybody off here, do it. Okay, no time for questions, bye. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah, I've been meetings like that, at companies like that, and that's why I don't work there anymore. Last two places I worked at jumped ship before it sank, and thank God I got out of both of them. My gosh. When the CEO and the management don't know what they're doing to this level, and are this out of touch, and just don't know how to do basic math or business strategy, just leave. So they go on to reiterate, this was the first time they even tried to communicate their intentions about the OGL to employees, and even in this meeting, they blamed the community for overreacting. So this was leaked to the community first, then they had a meeting with the DDB people about how to implement it, and then said, what we're going to do after the holidays, hey, happy non-Christmas, because they're all, atheist, angry, anti-religious, just evil, miserable, hateful, perverse people. So they at the end of the statement put, I will repeat, the main thing this leadership is looking at is D&D Beyond subscription cancellations. They made that a separate paragraph and sentence at the bottom. They're like, this is what made them change their mind. Vote with your wallet is basically what they're saying. And also, comma, it's working. Then they ended with, hope your day goes well. Your day will go a lot better if you just go work for a different company. I don't care how passionate you are about tabletop. I mean, the thing is, though, there's not that many tabletop gaming positions out there. Although people are already firing up like open D&D, open tabletop, this and that. Everybody's like, you know what? We're done with this. This is the last straw. Because let's just back up a little bit. What was the last D&D controversy? Oh yeah, they want to move away from the word race, and they want to, what'd they say? Something about you can't have all members of one race have like +2 strength because they're not all like that. And it's just an analogy for black people. Basically, we think orcs are black people. And then people in the community said, does anybody outside of Wizards of the Coast think that orcs are black people? Because you seem to be the only one thinking that, and blah, 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 something equality. But you just scratch the little veneer off the surface on any lefty talking points about how we need to help so-and-so group, or this, that, and this minority, that oppressed group, this neurodivergent, whatever, cat people, mental illness nonsense train. You really just get, oh, they're all victims and we're smarter and better because of our status and because of our money and because of where we were born and our skin color. So we need to come in as the magical saviors and help you. Otherwise, you're never going to fix anything because we're so much better than you. Like, that is their talking points. It goes back to what 10 years ago they said, well, it's racist to expect people to show an ID when they vote because black people don't have IDs and don't know where to get them. Like, they just came out and said that on like CNN or MSNBC or something, or some author. I'm like, wow, you dropped the curtain for a second and forget who you're talking to and start, spouting off this racist nonsense, boy. So that was the last controversy was, oh, all of D&D is actually racist, you're all terrible, and also you're all gatekeeping, you're all exclusionary. Somebody just wrote an article about how D20s are gatekeeping because people only own 6-sided dice, and requiring a 20-sided die is, I don't know, racist or something, or it's I don't even know what the point was. It was such utter BS, dude. That's the company we're dealing with. I could give you like 10 more examples of them absolutely just bringing the whole lefty 3-ring circus into town, and then people peek through the tent and go, what's going on in here? Oh, they're all insane. That is what led to this. This is not a one-off business decision and oopsies from a respected brand. No, this is the company rotting from the inside out because they hire people like this. And then they stack greedy, immoral suits on top of it on a publicly traded company that only wants to impress the shareholders, and they're trying to do it when the shares are down 50%. You want to talk about a recipe for disaster and then the complete and utter inability for them to, turn it around? It is not possible. Period. This is never getting better. They are so corrupt from the bottom to the top, there is no way that Hasbro is going to survive the next 10 years. No way. Absolutely no way in hell, unless what? Elon Musk buys them, and if you think he's a conservative, instead of just like, I do whatever I want, neutral, chaotic, neutral, aligned meme poster, no. You'd have to get like an actual conservative in charge of that company and then just gut it. And then what are you going to do? Shut them down for 6 months while you try to move them out of Seattle and hire people from the Midwest that aren't dicks? Good luck. They don't have the time, the budget, and the employees on the way out would try to sabotage it. That is just how these evil, vindictive lefties go, okay? So that's a background. Let's get back to just the OGL and what's going on, the remaining details here, because they are trying to control the content to eliminate what they see as racist, sexist, or homophobic content, which by their definition is literally anything. You like blink at someone and, oh, that was a microaggression. I hope I laid the groundwork to the point where I barely even have to say this, but I'm not exaggerating. They're actually like that. The worst part is they're massive hypocrites, but yeah, OGL. Let's rewrite it and make money off of that. So I guess that's where Hasbro decided to go after this many years, because it was just hands off, we'll passively make a thing and we just want popularity, we'll make money on the back of that. We'll release new versions, new books, new whatever once in a while, and it's fine. And I will say, you could describe the D&D tabletop market as under-monetized, just looking at the numbers, the widespread, the profitability, and the amount made annually per player and all that. But when you've been doing it this way for this long, you can't just double the price, okay? The books are already about $50 a piece retail, which is utterly ridiculous. And then on top of it, they openly insult their fans. They won't stop screaming and screeching on the internet about, oh, skin color and this orientation and that, and you're all terrible. We hate our customers and you're all racist. That's already a bad look and driving people away. They're already angry. Then you go and ruin the Magic the Gathering segment completely with power creep. Now on top of it, they're like, let's try and get more money out of them because Magic the Gathering is failing miserably. The number of active player counts online are so bad that they threaten companies tracking it into taking down the numbers. Allegedly. I mean, I have pretty damning evidence, but I'll say allegedly. The gaming stores are shutting down. One more example, they decided, boxes of Magic cards, 36 packs. Okay, it's what you would see on the shelves. You can buy them loose, you can buy them in a box, whatever. You gotta go to your local store. I guess somebody could flip them online, but it'll be about the same price because of, shipping and stuff, although they did drop the ball on that a little bit. But, okay, you keep them in business. You buy them from there for a little bit more. And WotC is like, well, we sell to a distributor. They sell to a store, and then a store sells to the people, and all of them want to make a profit. That's a stupid business model. Let's just compete with them directly on Amazon for short-term gains. So they started selling boxes for like $80-$90, which the retail was closer to $140. But they'd sell them for even upwards of $100, but still ridiculously cheap, compete with everybody else, push them all out of the market. Everybody would just go online, buy them. And then several hundred, from what I'm hearing, although they hide the numbers in this too, gaming stores have gone out of business. And if they didn't, they just said, screw it, we're going Warhammer, we're doing something else. We're not even going to sell Magic products anymore. And also, if they didn't like one tweet, one post, one thing you put up on the wall, or just one angry lefty made up lies about you, they would just pull everything and ban you from selling their products for a couple months. So people got real fed up with that too. It's just watching a company self-destruct. While the Hasbro execs just sit there and go, okay, so we could tighten our belt, innovate, bring in people with new ideas, and just really put in some effort to turn things around, do some market research, find out what people want, find out what people don't like. No, let's just keep giving ourselves giant bonuses, not care, because we're all 50, 60, 70 going to retire anyway, and just burn everything to the ground. Who cares? Because, I don't want some young upstart person coming in with new ideas. That sounds awful. And then if they get fired or retired, there's golden parachute out the window with a giant pension, and they don't give a crap. A lot of companies working this way. So if you think this was just one individual person, one bad boss, one bad manager, one bad product person saying, let's do this. Oh, terrible idea, backlash. Ooh, bad, bad, bad. No, it's the whole corporate culture of the company. It's clueless from the top to the bottom, from WotC to Hasbro and everybody in between. The turnover is enormous. They don't pay their employees enough. They're losing money left and right. Everybody hates their job. Everybody's still working from home with a mask on in case their dog sneezes on them and gives them COVID. I mean, how can this come out with good decisions, good products out of this? I mean, let me give you the worst example in case you think I'm exaggerating or I'm biased because of my personal beliefs in politics. They had two females who were in charge of the story for, I want to say D&D. I'm pretty sure it was D&D. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Magic, but it was like, the story people, the lore people. They fired them and hired one man. That man has written a book in the past. It's still on Amazon. You can look it up. In fact, who the hell am I covering for? Nick Kelman. NIC, by the way, because Seattle. So what's wrong with Nick Kelman? When Alan Marling has to come out and roast you publicly and say, pump the brakes, you've gone a little too far left, that's like Charlie Sheen telling you to pump the brakes on the drug use. Okay, Ozzy Osbourne calling you up and saying, I think you got a problem. So he wrote a book. I'm not even going to say what it is, and I was going to read a quote from it, but I want to put ads on this video. He is a disgusting pedophile. Wrote a whole book about how attractive underage girls are, and people have been calling for him to get fired since he got the job. Okay, openly perverse pedophile freak, or a fabophile. Oh, there's a big difference. Oh, should I use the term MAP too? Minor attracted person? Is that more polite for you? I got a term for you, but I don't think I can put it on YouTube. And I mean, he was going on about how great it is that 15-year-olds in Amsterdam, this and that, and like, the guy's an absolute disgusting freak of a person. They knew about this. He probably put it on his resume. He didn't secretly publish it under a different name. His name is on the book, Nick Kelman, and they fired 2 women to hire 1 man, and that man was a pervert. There you go. There's your hypocrisy right there when they're like, oh, women, oh, we need to get less men in Magic and more women. Oh, we need more minorities because... I don't know. I've been to multiple different stores. Everybody shows up. We don't care. It's an exact cross-section of who lives here, dude, whatever. And I had to really think hard because I don't walk into a room, scan it, and start counting races and genders and orientations, okay? I don't think that way because I'm not a racist lefty. And you might think, yeah, but like, okay, they're getting a little aggressive for it, but, oh, diversity. Look at the 1950s. Look at the 1980s. They're making progress. They're progressive. Okay, this is coming from a company where they blew the lid off this a couple years ago. Of course, I covered it on my channel. They just do not hire black people. No, you can look up the demographics of Seattle and, there you go. But they hire contractors, art contractors. That was the big thing, was the art department. You can hire anyone from any country, anywhere, and just pay them, and that's that. One of their black artists says, yeah, it is weird. I think I know of maybe 3 other black artists in the entire history of the game that have ever made art for them. And so then they came out and said, oh, whoopsies, oopsies. Stuck-up white, rich Seattle liberals who are afraid of black people and just shout on the internet about how equality, we need to help them, which are 2 obviously complete opposite statements, but don't even get me started. Oh, but we're not going to hire them or work with them? Like, let's not get crazy. And so then they came out and their hiring director said, we're looking for only non-white and people of color and all these, their little pet names and acronyms that they made up for them. They might have thrown a Latinx in there too, because, Latina and Latino, well, that's just sexist. They don't know anything about the Spanish language. Pero definitivamente es racista después de pasar 5 minutos 5 minutos, lo siento, mirándolo. I mean, that's all it takes to take, a couple 1,000-year-old language and just dump on it and say, you're all doing it wrong, do it my way, because I'm white. Because equality. That's the kind of people that live there. Clueless, racist, brainwashed, delusional morons who eat, breathe, and sleep hypocrisy and like talk down to minorities and think they're all victims. So in other words, lefty Democrat idiots. I cannot drive that point home enough because that is the story, okay? Everybody's saying that something else happened is trying to cover because they know how corrupt and evil and far left the entire Democrat wing and everybody in society that aligns with them has gone over the last 10 to 20 years. And then they turn around and call everybody else, you disagree with me, you're a racist. Oh, the far right, ooh, Russia, ooh, Trump, ooh, terrorists, ooh, ho, ho. While they burn a company to the ground and burn your city to the ground and go, oh, no, it's fine because it's, They're just mad, and justifiably so, and we're going to pay for their college and reparations. No, we're not, right? At the last second, we're not going to do that. And if you're watching, you're also not going to hire you? Like, let's not get crazy. Oh, you're all gatekeeping. We need more women in D&D and Magic. Stop being such toxic masculinity. Also, we fired 2 women and hired a pedophile. There's what they say, there's what they do, and then at the end of the day, I've heard from multiple ex-employees of WotC that allegedly Hasbro comes in and says, okay, you made an extra 20% this quarter or this year. The profits are up. Amazing. Good. Because we're sure as heck not making money on anything. Oh, wow. That's so great. Okay. So we need 50% next year. And then they're like, how are we going to do that? And then Chris Cox comes in and says, once again, allegedly, this is a narrative I've heard, but I haven't confirmed this. Oh yeah, we can totally do that because I'm the best CEO ever and I deserve a raise. In fact, you should just make me the CEO of all of Hasbro because I can keep doing this. I'm totally not directly competing with stores on Amazon and buying up, D&D Beyond so that we can double the price and rip up the OGL. I mean, don't ask questions, just look at the numbers, which ironically is basically my interpretation of every single quarterly report that they've given financially to the stockholders pretty much since the game started failing, is just look at the numbers, don't look deeper. Just look at the numbers. Listen to what I'm telling you and believe it, because I only care about me, not the company. I care about my promotion, my career, my bank account balance. So whatever makes me look good, cool. That's why the suits are coming and saying, you know what, rip up the OGL and make a new one. That makes us money. What? Someone other than us sold like a Kickstarter thing and made $1 million? We want a cut of that. Now, need I remind you that their total stock value used to be flirting with like $10 billion and now it's $5 billion. They lost $5 billion from their policies so far, and they want to take a cut of under 20 people making just over $750,000 on a fan-made project. That sounds an awful lot like, Biden's IRS, where they're like, let's hire 89,000 new IRS agents, and we're going to investigate somebody who made, $601 on Venmo because they washed a couple dogs for their friend or something. And whether they filled out a Schedule C or not, we're just going to say they didn't and hit them up for more money. And Wizards of the Coast, $1,000 gold-backed, gold-bordered fake proxy garbage that you can't even play with for $250 a pack. $1,000 for 4. And then you add up the total print run, which the numbers were suspected, you make basically nothing. Less than 1% of WotC's revenues is what I'm hearing. So they just had 1 month of the community telling them to take their $1,000 proxies and shove it, because I could just run off equally legal cards on my HP printer sitting right next to me, and just calling them greedy, cash-grabbing jerks. I mean, every tweet, they could be like, hey, look at this cute dog that somebody brought into work. And every comment is like, yeah, but you're greedy jerks, and I'm never buying another product from you ever again. Like, they cannot dig themselves into a hole and hide long enough for that to blow over. And they did it all to make a couple $1 million. So then you go over to the D&D department, and Hasbro's allegedly the ones behind this, instructing them, some little fan-made project made $750,000 in 1 penny? Better get 25% of that. How much did you pay your lawyer? Because this is a couple $100,000 you'd make on each individual thing. You pulled in a couple $1 million, that's it. Couple million. On a brand worth over $1 billion, with a movie coming out that they just ruined, that they probably just wiped out $200-300 million worth of ticket revenues because of their bad reputation now and their politics. And allegedly the movie went full woke and, all this, I don't even want to get into it, but yeah, it's another lefty disaster that nobody's going to touch because they inserted a bunch of their politics in it because they just can't shut up about it and make a product. They just have to let everybody know about what a victim certain groups are and how you're a terrible person for oppressing them, no matter who you are or how much money you have or where you were born. Doesn't matter. You're an oppressor. You're terrible. And look at me, pat myself on the back. I'm helping society by screaming at people and antagonizing the customer. Wait, why is the whole business closing and I'm fired? Oh, because our piece of garbage nobody wants to watch or buy or purchase or support in any way just went negative. Oops. What they need to do is come in and have a finance person say, okay, this cost us $1 billion and made us $1 million. You're fired. Oh, somebody who dyed their hair blue and doesn't feel like coming in today because, they need a personal day because their life's so hard. It's so hard trying to tweet angry stuff at people on Twitter and then getting backlash and not having the whole company behind them, supported by the FBI and the Biden administration. It's so hard when people reply to a tweet telling me I'm wrong and then provide evidence. I need a day off. Fire them. And everybody was like, okay, so I didn't even want to bring this into this. The Dragonlance series, they renewed it. The original authors, takes place in the D&D universe, sort of. It's at least it's complicated, but it's kind of a D&D thing, published by kind of Hasbro. The first draft went to that pedophile head of story, and allegedly that's who did this. He was behind this, sent it back saying, we need less this, more this sounds like a reference to that, and just all this, we need all these revisions. And then on top of that, they made the revisions because they're like, whatever, I just need to check. Thanks, spineless Dragonlance authors, and then they, on top of that, didn't pay them. They had to come out publicly and say, they'd never paid us, so we're not writing the end book. And then, I guess, the narrative that I'm hearing, although WotC never confirmed this, that is the reason they fired Nick eventually. Not because he's an active, creepy pedophile, but because he caused bad PR and lost the money on a book series. That's WotC's morals. That's the final straw. That's why they rolled back this OGL stuff, because the unsubscribe and cancel my D&D Beyond subscription right after they bought D&D Beyond, that page crashed. That's why they came out and said, okay, fine, we'll lay off. They do not care about what you think because you're wrong. They don't care about how you vote unless it's Democrat or far left. They don't care about your skin color. They don't care about anything. They want money, and they want you to shut up about your opinions on anything because only they are allowed to have an opinion on everything in society because they know more than you and they're superior. So once again, let me circle back to, do you think that they're going to course correct and do the right thing after this when they've got like a multi-year history of ruining everything and it's getting worse? Maybe if somebody comes in and buys Hasbro and guts it, and that's going to happen, it's just, are they going to go bankrupt first? Somebody's going to come in and buy their individual properties. Somebody's interested in G.I. Joe, Transformers, Monopoly, all the stuff they own that they're over and under monetizing simultaneously, and being run by clueless, out-of-touch suits who just hire their friends and family whether they're qualified or not. As long as they voted the way they did, they don't care. And then more and more lefties come in, promise them the moon, just lie to their faces and say, only look at the numbers, don't ask questions. Look how great I am. Let me hire more people like me. And then, well, we all know what happens after that. So Hasbro is about to go bankrupt. Like I said, next 5-10 years are gone. They are unable to course correct because they're unwilling to course correct because nothing is more important than them screaming at you because you aren't woke enough, diverse enough, left enough. They've even turned on their own. They've attacked like LGBTQ people, and they've attacked their own like minority employees. They don't care. There's no consistency. There's no let's move society forward and peaceful and everybody get along. It's the opposite. Let's separate. You got to stay in your lane. No cultural appropriation. And let us rich white saviors come in and help you and save you. If that sounds like a good strategy for running a business, and at the end of the day, nothing is more important. Profits, money, income, nothing is more important than me getting my message out there. If you think that Hasbro is going to turn this around when that's their opinion, then you are actually insane. You know what? Go buy some stock then if you're so confident in it. Less money for you as you just delusionally, everything collapses around you because you don't know what's going on, you're brainwashed, is less power and influence for you. So I win either way. You do you. Why are you even still watching this? Shut up. Oh, you're typing a comment down below about how wrong I am, and oh, I'm a far right, and I'm a conservative, oh my god, screech, screech, screech. All my comments on this channel are held for review, and nobody's going to see it but me, and I'm going to ban you before it even gets out. So, making you guys angry is actually what I do on this channel now. It's funny to me, because you deserve it. Because you're so destructive and wrong and toxic for society. Now, fast forward, what do we got with your progressive bullshit where, oh, we just want equal rights for this group. We're not going to come after you. No, actually, we're going to put pervy books in schools and brainwash kids and tell 8-year-olds they're trans and then, ship them off to California to get an operation done against their parents' wishes. That's what happens when you let this go. That's why you got to fight it. I don't care if you're like, oh, it's some tabletop thing. It's some OGL. It's Dungeons & Dragons. Those nerds. Who cares? Oh, it's just some card game. That's not important. Like I said, your local school board level, your mayor, your supervisor at work, your coworker, the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, this politician, that mayor, this governor, this brainwashed idiot treating their kids like crap and screwing them up for life. Every single one of these people, you got to speak up. You can't worry about, oh, what are they going to say? I'm going to keep my opinion to myself. I don't want to make waves. I don't want to alienate this family member. I'm going to have to sit this one out, guys. Someone else is going to have to deal with it. Let's see, the left is greedy, power-hungry people who will stop at nothing, cheating, lying, everything to get power and to get influence over everybody else. All they want is money, and they live for nothing remotely moral. And they got the conservatives on the right that are like, I just want my rights, I want freedom, and I want to be left alone. Well, who's going to eventually win in the end there? I wonder. The passive or the aggressive? The one actively just leave me alone, I don't want to get involved, or the I'm going to take over at all costs. And look where we're at in 2023 while you sit by and do nothing. The last two things about the OGL are the new version says if they deem your content to be in any way, I guess I'm going to say generally anti-woke. I forgot their exact statement. I apparently lost the screenshot, but it's like, bigoted, hateful, whatever. Which, I think my children shouldn't be told they're trans when they're 8 and don't know what reality is and isn't. That's hateful content. Oh, you made a module, but none of the characters are overtly flaming in your face monologue to the camera gay? You're discriminating. Oh, you forgot to say that orcs are black people and that we need to treat them better in your module? Deleted. They can tell you to take down your content from everywhere and erase it from existence with a 30-day warning. That's what the new version of the OGL 1.1 says. And it says it's for, woke bullshit, but I believe it also says for any reason at all. Oh, you hit thumbs up on a tweet 3 years ago. Delete your D&D module that's up for sale. And that doesn't just apply to people above $750,000. That applies to everyone. If you collect 1 penny in any way, shape, or form for something that you made in the D&D tabletop world, congratulations, you're now under the OGL. Or you're in violation of it because you have to agree with it, depending upon how you look at it. So they said on April 29th, 2001, when somebody asked them the question, can't Wizards of the Coast just change the OGL license in like a negative way? And their answer, direct from Wizards of the Coast, was, yes, it could happen. However, the license already defines what will happen to content that has been approved previously and distributed using an earlier version of the OGL. In Section 9, it says, as a result, even if WotC made a change you disagreed with, you could just continue to use an earlier acceptable version at your option. So when they come out with OGL 1.1 and it's awful, you can just keep using 1.0, right? Like literally from their own mouths. This is what they said about it. It was designed that way by their intention. I believe the statement was 1 year after they came out with the OGL. They even said, in other words, there's no reason for Wizards to ever make a change that the community of people using the Open Gaming License would object to, because the community would just ignore the change anyway. Direct quote from WotC, April 29th, 2001. Published. Verified. In written print. So how did they get around this? Because it already describes that, like, it's in perpetuity. There's a little clause in the OGL 1.1 or 1.0, the original, that says they could just hit the self-destruct button and delete it. So then, in theory, all existing content would be under it, even though they deleted it, because it's in perpetuity and it's like kind of ex post facto, but not really. I'm not a lawyer. It's not legal criminal federal code, but it's similar. But then any new content from then on. And what are Dungeon Dudes just going to stop making content? Is Critical Role just going to stop making content? As far as I know, they're only going after D&D content, not Magic the Gathering, but I've done some silly fanfic stuff that made, $5 on my YouTube channel. FYI, lifetime, my channel's made just under $120,000, so I'm not within their range. But if after 2024, whatever they try to roll this crap back out, if I was found to be with fan content just reporting on the news and showing a logo here and there, if I was found to be under it, and then they said, oh, if they don't agree with your politics, blah, 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 some BS about wokeness and diversity, what, you have to delete your whole channel now? Do I sound from this video like someone who's going to get pushed around? Do you think that people who can sell $750,000 or more worth of a fan-made module have communities that wouldn't have their back on hiring a lawyer and dragging WotC through legal hell? Do I sound like someone where if some bully tried to push me around in court and then I lost because they just have more money influence and I don't have the money to defend myself, that I would just leave it at that and drop it and not make it my life's goal to ruin their entire company one way or another and give them bad PR until forever? No. And I'm one of the nicer people, okay? You're just coming after something that at this point, because they've ruined Magic the Gathering, I make about $1,000 a month on this channel. Actually, as of January, because ad rates are crap, it's closer to $500. Okay, I used to do this full time. They've already ruined my entire business and my entire YouTube channel, my income. I'm back working in IT, cool, whatever, kind of fun. I liked working for myself better, shockingly enough. Go sub to my new 4th channel called Emergency Survival Tips. It's a based, apolitical, well-edited, educational prepper channel. You want to rip some crap out of your car and charge your phone in the middle of the woods? That's a channel for you. You want to light a fire in the stupidest possible way with technology or rubbing sticks together? I got your back. You want to make your own food packing that'll last 30 years? One of my best videos. Emergency house heating without killing your whole family? I got like 5 videos on it. I'm already jumping ship. Like I said, when the ship's sinking, I'm the first one in the lifeboat. I don't hesitate. I'm out of here, okay? I'm too old and have seen this too many times before to get caught up in crap like this. So I feel really bad for like the people affected by this. And like the person said, this leak coming from the inside, they didn't just say, oh, this was a bad take. Oh my gosh. They even said, we rolled a 1 on this one, you guys. Oh, and the community totally forgave them and didn't just immediately reply, in order to roll a 1, you have to attack, and so stop attacking us. Throwing it right back in their face. To say the WotC product communities, Magic the Gathering and D&D, that fan base was a lot of, obviously in between, me included, but a lot of other people. There's a lot of crossover between it. To say that we're mad at WotC for like the last year is an understatement. Almost everybody watching my channel right now has completely stopped playing Magic in any way. Digital, paper, anything. They'll play casual with the stuff they already got once in a while, but it just reminds you of how bad the game is and how you wish you could buy the new products, but there's too many of them, the price is too high, and their local game store closed, and you don't want to support their statements, their racism, and their treatment of the community. And it's terrible. Imagine how I feel running a 10-year YouTube channel about Magic the Gathering. 3,000 videos, 250 million watch minutes. That's higher than the Super Bowl. And they've ruined my business because of their lefty politics, their mismanagement, their greedy, lying to the stockholders, misrepresenting everything, inflating profits in the short term, and just everything they've done. I've been watching it and watching it all slowly burn. And then I get, 1/4 of the community going, no, you're wrong. You're obviously just a conservative. You're paranoid. You just don't like them. It's not as bad as you think. And then they all left to go bitch about something on, I don't know, Cartoon Network or something not being woke enough, or they didn't do this one gay character right enough for them. No matter how you try to appease these people, nothing's ever good enough for them. It's not about getting to a point and moving society to a certain place. It's about, I'm superior to you. It makes me feel good because my life's in shambles, because I'm an angry lefty feminist with rainbow painted hair, with body image issues because I'm fat and can't put down the fork because it makes me happy because nothing else does, who screams at people online. And I'm just going to find stuff to scream about because also it gets me popularity, gets me donations from equally stupid people on Patreon. That's the other side of this saying WotC can do no wrong and their products are fine and the community's wrong, okay? The people attacking me and my channel who have been reporting the facts exactly as is without filtering them. Yeah, the truth is the first victim in the war against the left. So I guess I'll close out by reminding you that this is never going to get better. Go support whatever open tabletop initiative there is out there, because we need to let WotC not forget about this. To give you the slightest little faint bit of hope, first of all, DeSantis is going to win in 2024. Hopefully Trump drops dead or something. The guy's like 100 to eat steaks for breakfast, okay? He's got to have some kind of heart thing coming at some point. And the Democrats have nobody left because they're not likable. Everybody's like, yeah, I support that. Wink, wink, don't cancel me. And then they go silently in their own privacy, their own voting booth, do something about it. Oh, and the reckoning is already starting in the House. Should have been the Senate too, but, well, some ballots were printed on the wrong size paper, and all of a sudden we got a very surprising result in Arizona. Isn't that interesting? I wonder what could have led to that. Well, the world will never know, and I actually do not mean that sarcastically. I actually mean it literally. That's why everyone, every level, every company, every person you meet, if they are sucked into this ridiculous brainwash cult about you're superior to everyone, just think this way and vote this way and buy this way. Otherwise, we'll cancel you and ruin your business and ruin your life. Ruin your reputation. We'll protest outside your house and burn it down. And the judges have got our back. So you better vote along with us. You have to fight it because it's been too damn many years. They've gotten too far. They made too much progress. And we're barely getting big wins like Twitter. Barely. It's time to force these people out of every single position of power, from the local to the high level, every business, every government, the military. I don't care. Whoever you're in charge of, if you see this coming up, stomp it out. Don't just leave. Don't just run. Don't just let it rot. Oh, I'm gonna move somewhere else. I only care about me, my kids, my family. I'm just gonna homeschool. I'm just gonna do this. This is easier than trying to confront the school board. I'll just move. I'll just move to Texas. I'll just move out of California because now homeless people are outside my business because yay, drugs for everybody. Yay, let's just hand money to homeless people. Oh, they bought drugs with it. Why'd they do that? I thought they were lovable Disney hobos. Oh, failed Democrat policy number 50. Oops. Do something about it now. Let me just read you the lyrics from an awesome song from the 90s, because people saw this coming and where the direction of society was going even back then. Every Sunday morning I sit in the morgue watching the sea of heads nod back and forth. They cry how bad things have gotten in the past few years. Then they walk out the door, back to their chores, dead from ear to ear. I'm gonna rattle your cage, don't you see what's happening here? And then to paraphrase, your eyes are open but you just don't care. You say, oh, I want this world to change, but nothing's gonna change if you just complain. You can't just go on and think that it's right. Just sit back and let someone else fight. What will it take to bring you back to life to get you up and fight? Politician 1 or politician 2? They're gonna make it happen all for you. Making laws you don't believe in so you can turn the tube off because you've had enough. Back to your world again. And that's the end of the song. There's no happy ending. Because fast forward to 2023, look where we're at. I think I've pretty much outlined this. Just another victim of the culture war, cancel culture, lefty freaks, and everybody else who needs to be stopped immediately. And look what happened to Australia. Look what happened to Canada. Now the number one leading cause of death in Canada is the doctors killing you because lefty policies. They're a sick, evil, demented cult obsessed with death and racism and division and power and greed and money and lies and everything bad in society. And before I go off on a tangent about what's behind that, I think this video is long enough, but thanks for watching. If you're still here, you're clearly on the right channel. Oh my gosh, go sub to this or my other one, or my gaming channel, or my other channel, or my other channel. And I will see you guys next time. Oh, and WotC, You can OGL these nuts.